Hi there, my name is Babylon, and I used to be a city dweller just like yourself, until 2018 when my husband and I sold it all and bought the farm. That's right, we bought 40 acres of off-grid property in Northern California, sold our Bay Area home, and built everything here from scratch. In this series, I'm going to show you the entire process that we went through, from buying our land to building our home to creating a homestead, all from raw land. So if that sounds like anything of interest to you, stay tuned. This is Pleasant Valley Ranch Unplugged. Oh, hi there. Didn't see you there. My name is Babylon and I live on 40 acres of off-grid property with my husband. You know, it takes a lot to build a homestead. You don't just move your family off the grid and instantly plop down a house and all of your infrastructure. It's not done overnight. It's a long building process that takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and blood, sweat, and tears. And today, I'm going to take you on that journey with me as I reminisce about some of the things that happened to my husband and I when we decided to move off the grid. So a lot of people have heard that I moved off the grid, but what you don't know is the story behind why we moved off the grid, or how we ended up finding a 40-acre piece of off-grid property in California in general. Well, here's that little backstory that you all have been itching to hear. So this started in the summer of 2017 when we went and visited some family that are near and dear to my heart. See, growing up, I spent the summers with my aunt and uncle in the country because my family lived in the city. And to me, it was much more fun to hang out on a farm, take care of farm animals, and do a bunch of manual labor than sit around being bored all summer, playing video games, and just hanging out with your friends, yada, yada, yada. So, I guess you could call me a crazy city kid. Now, when we decided to buy land, we knew we were going to have to buy it in cash because the unfortunate truth, as anyone knows, is that you cannot finance land. So we looked at what we had in our rainy day and savings funds that we could play around with, and then we started making a list of our must-haves for buying land. Now, at this point, we were just going to buy a recreational piece of property in Northern California to drive from the Bay Area up to on the weekends to go camping, hang out with family during 4th of July, Labor Day types of things, maybe get some livestock that we could get a ranch hand or caretaker to help us take care of. But at that point, we weren't thinking of moving up here full time. So in 2017, we started looking at land. And boy, just thinking about it makes my head spin. There were so many different types of properties that we looked at. So our requirements first off were that it had to be over 20 acres. We wanted land with character, so that meant we wanted rolling hills plus flat usable land, and a place where I could have horses and goats and chickens and all that fun stuff one day. Also, it had to be within an hour of a major city area to where my husband and I could find work or go grocery shopping, get to a hospital if need be, yada yada yada. Another thing we wanted was cell phone service and high-speed internet capabilities. Now, we'll get more into those little details later, but let's keep on the land for now. So, with those requirements in mind, we started looking at properties. So it's all uphill from here, huh? I think this brush is a little thick. I think we're gonna pass. It's a non-starter. How steep did you say the grade of this place was again? Whew. Man, gives you quite the leg workout. Hey honey, we're not gonna need our gym membership. Oh, honey, I think we need to turn around. I think we just missed it. Yeah, I saw tire tracks on the grass back there by that old oak. So this is beer country, huh? And When did you say the last sighting of a bear was? Oh, and mountain lions. All right. I just don't think there's enough flat, usable land here. I mean, we're on the side of a hill. Yeah, I think this is just a little too flat for us. I think it's going to be a non-starter. Oh, honey, my cell phone just went dead. We don't have any coverage here. I think this is going to be a non-starter. So you're telling me if I want to use this, I have to grade the top of the property and also the bottom. Wow, and they want how much for that piece of property? This is really far out. Oh, look at that sign. Don't come any further. I will shoot. All right, let's turn around. This is a non-starter. Whew, more walking. Okay, so if we just take out all these trees and get over to that side, that's flat usable land, right? Can you ask the realtor when you call him if like there's any pieces of property out here that have like maybe like on top of the hill with like hills in between and it's in the mountains and it doesn't flood in the wintertime? So that digger's been there 100 years, huh? Kind of a part of the property, huh? Well, maybe we need to go back to the drawing board and do things without a house pad or utilities. Maybe that'll open things up more. After going through all of that, my husband and I were pretty defeated. And I thought there has to be a better piece of property out there. So we went back to the drawing board and we took having utility hookups and the ability to be on the grid right away off the table. And that opened up things a lot. So then we went back to the drawing board, we looked at more property, and that's when we found right under our noses the entire time was a 40-acre parcel of land that had been listed on the market for over 100 days. It had rolling hills, and it had wonderful, mature digger pines, manzanita, scrub oak. It had big, huge, flat plateaus. My way of thinking is that we weren't going to buy a horse trailer right away. We were going to hire friends to come trailer my horses out for the delivery, and then after that they would just be able to live on the property for the remainder of their lives and never have to really be trailered, with the exception of any natural disasters or emergencies. I would have a large enough parcel of land to where I could just trail ride them all over and never have to leave our property. So that was the wave of thinking behind getting such a large parcel of land. So another thing they don't tell you in the land process is that because it is such a small commission for a real estate agent to make off of land, oftentimes you have to go show yourselves these properties and know the address or GPS coordinates of where they're located at, and you better hope to God that you have a good satellite GPS in your car or on your phone. Because one thing with country property that we discovered is that cell phone coverage is very spotty in places and even has dead zones. We would look at the bars as we were driving around and see them drop and go back up, and that helped us determine whether it was too far out of our comfort zone. So from there, my husband did the unthinkable. He made an offer on the property with our realtor, who had agreed to meet us in town, drive us out to the property, and show it, even though this had been sitting on the market for over 100 days, mind you. He was working very hard for his commission, and it ended up paying off. My husband made an offer that day, but he asked for half the listing price, and he said he was going to pay in cash in full. And my jaw dropped when he did that, and I fully thought, you're going to offend the guy. He's not even going to come back with a counteroffer. We're just going to flat out lose the piece of property. He'll sell to anybody else but us because of us making such a obtrusive offer. And 3 days later, we got a call back, and the guy accepted our offer. And now we were landowners of 40 acres off the grid. And then came the fun part of figuring out, okay, now we're landowners. Now what do we do? So
So that was part 1 of Pleasant Valley Ranch Unplugged. If you like this series, make sure to subscribe and hit your notification bell so that way you're aware whenever I post the next part of this series when I start diving deeper into the development of our homestead.
Alright everyone, be safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye.